This is my partner, Catherine Martin, and today we are here to welcome you to the first annual CVA pie eating contest. This year, we have quite the variety of participants.
Yes, indeed we do, King. We have the lion, giraffe, tufted capuchin, a bearded dragon, a koala, and an alligator competing this fine afternoon.
Wow.
It should make for quite the interesting competition, don't you think?
I agree.
I think so too. In my opinion, I think the capuchin will really be the star of the show. Her rhythmic chewing has really paid off in past competitions and shows great potential for eating all of that pie.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. I think the bearded dragon is the obvious choice for the competition. I mean, you know, she might not be the most consistent competitor when it comes to gape cycle durations, but have you seen her gulp those crickets down?
I have not, unfortunately.
Well, regardless, let's take a closer look at what goes into the consumption of these contestants' prey.
Let's do that.
Intra-oral food processing, or chewing, is seen in many lineages of amniotes and fish. Mastication is a specific form of this chewing that is characterized by transverse movements of specialized occluding teeth. This action has led to the evolution of many different muscle activities and jaw kinematics.
It has. See, mastication evolved through reduced mandibular postdentary bones, reduced tooth replacement, and diaphodonty. The anchoring of teeth in the mandible and the evolution of gamma motor neuron controlled muscle spindles also contributed. Back to my favorite, the capuchin, which is a primate, has been hypothesized to have more feed-forward modulation in chewing behavior in response and anticipation to internal and external changes between food consumption. And this would allow them to operate with minimal variance in their chew cycle and perform with optimal chewing efficiency to minimize the energetic cost of the work performed on the food. So essentially, they will be able to chew for longer periods of time without fatigue, exactly what you need in a competition like this.
All right, calm down there, Catherine. So look at that feed-forward system you just mentioned. Both feed-forward and feedback systems are made possible by periodontal afferents through the evolution of mammalian mastication. They provide information about orientation, magnitude, rate, and position of bite forces on teeth. A feed-forward system that you were suggesting your capuchin has anticipates the changes needed based on other sources than just the food. A feed-backward system, which most of us are way more familiar with, uses the information about the state of the variables, such as bite forces, to alter mastication. A feed-backward system is more error-driven, and there is a delay between a problem and correction because of this.
Which is exactly why the tufted capuchin, my favorite, will be the victor of this pie eating competition.
You're still wrong, but let's take a closer look at some of the training the contestants have been doing in preparation.
Fine, let's do that. Looks like they've been working hard to prepare for this competition, but no amount of training will change their natural gape cycle phases.
Their what?
Gape cycle phases: slow close, slow open, and fast close. Alright, let me break it down for you. There are 4 phases of the gape cycles involved in mastication. They're all exactly what they sound like. However, slow close is going to be the clutch reason why the capuchin is way better than the bearded dragon and pie.
Okay, don't care about your clutch reason. I don't really care if your monkey's better at being slow than my dragon. It's gonna leave it in the dust at eating those pies.
No. What I meant was that the slow close phase of the gape cycle is when bite force is applied to the food item, and it's said to be the reason for the variation between the lizards and primates' gape cycles, because primates' feed-forward control regulates it more.
Okay then.
Slow open is when the tongue is protracted and prepares to transport the food and collect sensory information. Fast open is when the mandible opens and the tongue and hyobranchium are pulled back to transport food towards the pharynx. Fast close is when the jaws rapidly close over the food item, causing variation in primates and lepidosaurs, so they won't have any particular advantage for either animal.
That's awesome. Something else that I think will be really important to our competitors is how long the whole chewing shebang takes.
The total gape cycle duration?
Sure, that. Anyways, if your capuchin is taking its sweet time chewing its food at the same pace, rhythmically you could say, then maybe the bearded dragon will be faster at chewing overall, even though she's all over the place with how she chews.
Interesting thought. We'll have to wait until after the competition to see if you're right. Although I suspect not, because the capuchin is definitely taking home the crown.
All right. Let's see how the competitors are feeling about the competition.
So, Capuchin, how are you feeling about the competition today?
I'm feeling pretty confident, I feel like I'm going to be able to get into my rhythm and just blow the competition away.
Sounds like a solid plan. Now let's talk to the bearded dragon.
Bearded Dragon, how are you feeling about the competition?
You know, people tend to underestimate me because I don't exactly chew. I more use inertia to get it all down, but I think I can come out on top anyway.
All right, well, it sounds like that's all we have time for right now, so let's introduce the other competitors.
Introducing our competitors! The capuchin! Those ears. The bearded dragon! So luscious. The koala! Don't fall asleep. The crocodile! Okay. The lion! Looks like he's got some courage. The giraffe!
What's going on? What is going on here?
What's up?
These are animals. I can't have a pie eating contest with animals.
You can do it.
No,
Just do it. Do it.
How did
do
you
it.
even get
You
them
can
to
do
sit
it.
here
You
like
can
this
do
with
it.
a pie in front of them?
Shh.
This is the 2015 CVA pie eating contest. They don't understand English. They're animals.
No, we train them.
The rules are there's no utensils. They can't even. All the pie must be eaten to completion, and there will be no biting, clawing, or necking. Good one. Of any other of the contestants. The winner will receive a crown. We need a crown. They're animals. For the World Wildlife Foundation, they're giving one pie to every animal in need. They don't need pies.
They know.
Okay, on my whistle, you will begin eating your pies.
Screw it, I'm getting leaves.
Speak English.
Looks like the only two left in the competition are Capuchin and Bearded Dragon.
They're neck and neck! Capuchin's rhythm is paying off, but Bearded Dragon's varying chewing pace doesn't seem to be inhibiting her pie-eating abilities at all!
Open your mouths. The winner of this year's 2015 pie eating contest is the Chuquakin and Bearded Lady.
Yay!
Wow, what a contest!
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Can you believe it was a tie?
No, especially considering those differences we were discussing in the gape cycles before.
Actually, what you guys were saying in the pregame show wasn't quite right. The slow close phase of our gape cycles aren't due to the differences in our feedback and feed forward controls. Although our slow close times are correlated with our total cycle times, mammals just vary the bite force during slow close by varying the rate the force is generated at. We're no more efficient at it than lizards.
Yeah, just because I chew with a more variable gape cycle than the capuchin, it doesn't mean that she has a less variable slow open phase than me either. Primates just use their feed-forward mechanism to cause trade-offs in other phase times that end up resulting in overall less variable gape cycles. The slow open duration is a much better determinant of total cycle duration in myself and Miss Capuchin.
Wow, I had no idea, and I thought you guys hated each other.
Me too.
This is groundbreaking information.
Well, do you two have any idea why you tied in the competition?
Sure, it is true that capuchin has periodontal afferents and gamma motor neurons that facilitate feed-forward chewing control, but that's not what leads to less variable slow close and slow open phases.
Us primates differ from the lizards because we spread out the variance throughout all the phases of our gape cycles. If there's an increase in one phase, there's a decrease in another phase to reduce the total gape cycle variation. Lizards, like Miss Dragon, less commonly do this, therefore they have more variable gape cycle durations. When lizards have increases in their total cycle durations, it is usually accompanied by increases in slow close that at the expense of the fast close and fast open, whereas primates are able to maintain a more consistent relationship between the different phases.
In fact, both lizards and primates There's a negative correlation between slow close and fast close, and slow open and fast open gape cycle phases, meaning we both do have related variations in how we chew.
The main difference comes from primates having information of the chew cycle variation in our central nervous system. That allows us to have a representation of the optimal chew cycle length that we can then maintain using afferent feedback from the ongoing state of the chewing.
This isn't a new adaptation either. Those guys mostly likely evolved that to minimize tooth wear and risk for breaking their little teethies during slow close. It was selectively advantageous for those of them who were chewing a lot because it also has more and energetically more efficient.
Wow, you ladies know a lot more about your evolution than we thought.
And the science behind their different chewing styles.
Fascinating.
It pays to know what you're up against.
The more you know about your competitor, the easier it is to train to beat them. Looks like we proved our point about equal effectiveness, though, since we ended up tying in the end.
I guess the take-home message from this pie eating competition is that differences aren't always disadvantageous, folks.
The bearded dragon's more variable total gape cycle times are just as effective as the capuchin's less variable ones.
They'll be sharing the CVA pie eating contest crown until next year.
Well, folks, that's all we have for tonight. Until next year, this is King and Catherine signing off.
Go.
Why is it red now?
Looks like. Can you just leave it alone and can you just read? Can you just read your script, please? Is that too hard? Can you do that for me, please?
I can't work with him.